When we think about organizational resilience, a number of thoughts come to mind. We think of our ability to be able to respond effectively to market shocks. We perhaps think about our system's abilities to respond to external threats. We perhaps think about how secure our networks are and how well we look after our customer data. And so these are all terms that we include or connote resilience to some extent. But what exactly do we mean by resilience? And I think that our understanding of what resilience means in a corporate context has changed over the years. So there's been a lot of research by an academic called Carl Wieck into what are known as highly reliable organizations. And highly reliable organizations such as fire stations, rescue teams, hospital ERs, these are organizations where if their processes fail, people die. So people may get fired if bank systems go down, and people may not be able to get access to their money, but people generally don't die. So in these highly reliable organizations, they have certain practices that make them extremely resilient so that even when bad things are happening, they can still operate. And so these principles of resilience are very, very similar to some of the core ideas that we find within DevOps. These are very similar to the core ideas that have allowed the big web companies to evolve and grow at scale in what has been the fastest growing and the fastest changing market in history. And so the ideas that sit underneath highly reliable organizations are very basic ideas. Ideas like being sensitive to small failures, being sensitive to the day-to-day operations, ensuring that you defer to expertise as opposed to organizational hierarchy. Now, while this may sound very theoretical, one thing that is beginning to be clear is that the DevOps model of operating, how to learn from big web companies to be able to operate at high velocity and at scale, those same behaviors also give fantastic characteristics for resilience to your organization. Because by virtue of creating teams that are sensitive to the value that they're adding, the product that they're creating for the customers that they are serving, sensitive to each other's expertise, understanding the role that each play within a team, within a process of creating value for a customer, this is what DevOps is about. But these same teams support each other and ensure that they pick up the slack from each other, and this creates highly reliable teams. Now, highly reliable teams fit together within this idea of a whole corporation makes highly reliable organizations. And so highly reliable organizations are really a new way of thinking about resilience from a corporate point of view. But I think what else is interesting, and this draws on the topic of iteration, which you often find in discussions about agile processes and agile software development, and that's the idea of improving in small pieces over time. And so the idea of improving in small pieces over time means that as you interact with your market, as you find new threats, as you find new issues that you have to deal with, having a highly responsive team, having a platform, including perhaps tools like Chef, which allow you to be highly responsive, to respond quickly to those events, and then ensure that those lessons are encoded within those platforms, what that gives you is it gives you the ability to improve your organization as the shocks occur. And this is an interesting principle because this is a principle similar to what Taleb calls anti-fragility. So our organizations become stronger and faster and better through the shocks that they experience. And what this is all based on is the ability to be able to respond effectively using highly reliable teams to be able to implement high velocity change in response to shocks in the market.